Today, Anthony Davis, the NBA star who can change the course of a game with a swing of his arm, a step, or a sudden block, has left the hustle and bustle of the arena and entered a much more peaceful place. His Bel Air mansion sits high above Los Angeles, peaceful and open with hills, a place built to breathe after the battles on the court. Here, away from the heat of competition, his life slows down. Calmer mornings, softer light, and a home reminiscent of a giant finally living at his own pace. But before we enter that quiet life, let's take a look at the challenges he has faced. Anthony Martian Davis Jr., born March 11, 1993, grew up on Chicago's South Side, a tall, gentle, and mostly introverted kid. He had two older sisters, a small apartment, and an old basketball hoop that held more dreams than conversation. At Perspective's charter school, he wasn't a household name, not even a local prospect. Just a kid who stayed late at the gym, shooting alone until the lights went out, imagining a future no one around him dared predict. His life didn't change with a headline. It changed with a chance. When he joined the Mean Streets AAU team in his junior year, coaches finally saw what had been there all along: the timing, the touch, the calm. Suddenly, the kid nobody noticed became the one everyone talked about. All-American selections, big showcases, MVP nights. They came quickly, but Davis carried them lightly, like someone still surprised that people were watching. Kentucky made the world see him the way his family always had. In one season, he grew into the backbone of a team chasing a title. He didn't need flash. He brought presence, steady rebounds, quiet leadership, and the kind of composure college players don't usually have. By the end of the NCAA tournament, he was the most outstanding player, but he still walked off the floor the same way he walked on, calm, almost shy, letting the noise roll past him. The NBA drafted him first overall in 2012, sending him to New Orleans. His early years were full of contrast. Huge nights followed by injuries that forced him to slow down again. He'd dominate one evening, then spend the next few weeks watching from the bench. But every time he came back bigger, better, more sure of himself. Fans saw it. Opponents felt it. New Orleans learned to lean on him. In 2019, he made the move that changed everything. Los Angeles. From the beginning, he settled into the purple and gold with a sense of purpose. The chemistry with LeBron was instant. He played like someone who finally found the stage big enough for what he could do. The 2020 playoff run showed the full version of Anthony Davis: fierce, focused, and unshakably calm. When the Lakers lifted their 17th championship trophy, his fingerprints were all over it. He re-signed afterward, choosing to keep building in Los Angeles even as injuries continued to visit him more often than he'd like. But when he's healthy, the whole team feels it. The defense sharpens, the pace steadies, and the game bends a little around him. And quietly, he's collected achievements most players only dream of: an NCAA title, Olympic gold, a FIBA World Cup gold, an NBA championship. All before he even turned 30. From Chicago's small gyms to basketball's biggest stages, he built a career marked by calm strength. Today, that same calm follows him home, to a Bel Air mansion perched above Los Angeles, the place where his real everyday life unfolds. Mansion luxury in Bel Air. The house slowly emerges as you walk up the long stone driveway, rising between quiet hills and soft morning light. Anthony Davis's 17,254 square foot Bel Air Crest mansion is anything but conspicuous. It simply sits quietly, nestled on a private hillside on 3.5 acres, as homes built for restoration often do. Purchased in 2021 and now valued at nearly $40 million, the home feels like a place designed for a man who spent half his life living in stress and needed the other half to find true peace. Inside, the atmosphere changes immediately. A 35-foot glass ceiling pulls the sky directly into the foyer, letting sunlight stream down onto a towering pine tree in the middle. The staircase curves gently up the wall, and the entire entryway exudes a quiet confidence, airy, bright, and almost weightless. You walk in and just say, "Wow." The surrounding rooms open up gently. The formal living room is designed with muted tones and long windows, letting the hills do most of the work. Afternoons here seem slow, the kind of slowness athletes crave after long flights and long matches. Nearby, the family room opens to the outdoors through sliding glass doors that disappear completely, turning the backyard into a natural extension of the sofa and coffee table. When the breeze blows, you barely notice where the house ends. The kitchen keeps its own rhythm. 2 large islands, soft stone countertops, and warm lighting create a sense of intimacy with early mornings. It opens naturally to the breakfast nook and dining room, where glass walls face the garden. A bright wine cabinet behind the worktop feels cozy rather than ostentatious, a gentle reminder that evenings here don't have to be fancy. Upstairs, the master bedroom sits above the canyon like an observatory. A glass wall frames the sunset, transforming the room into its own palette, pink one night, golden the next. A small sitting area and fireplace bring a slow pace to the space, while 2 spa-like bathrooms and spacious closets create a relaxing feel. Down the hall, the other bedrooms maintain the same quiet spatial language. Soft colors, simple lines, and windows create a sense of stillness. Deep inside, the tone changes, not louder, just more private. The cinema is dark and cocoon-like, designed for long movies or naps. The nearby living room tells his story on the walls, signed jerseys, photos, and a white pool table under recessed lights. The gym, the massage room, the private living room, all feel like an extension of a lifestyle built on discipline rather than ostentation. One of the garages quietly obscures half the yard, the kind of detail only true sports enthusiasts care about. But the heart of the house lies outdoors. The Olympic-length swimming pool stretches like a single sheet of water, reflecting the sky from edge to edge. All around, manicured lawns soften the sharp lines of the hillside, and pavilions loom in the shade like tiny resting spots. The outdoor kitchen, tennis court, batting cage, putting green, they're far enough from the house to feel like their own little world. And off to one side, a fully built-in children's playhouse, individually air-conditioned, quietly suggests life here beyond basketball. The last thing you feel before leaving is the weight of the quiet, a calm built carefully into every room and corner. But once the gates open, that atmosphere flips. The next chapter moves fast, loud, and unmistakably. It begins with his car collection. Car collection. The first car that defined Anthony Davis's daily rhythm wasn't a supercar. It was a black Kia Sorento. During his New Orleans years, he often arrived to community events in that SUV, a practical $40,000 family hauler with nothing flashy about it. It suited the version of Davis who valued routine. Wide cabin, quiet ride, enough space for the people he cared about. For a star living under constant pressure, the Sorento offered something rare: normalcy. As his profile grew, so did his garage. One of the cars that follows him in everyday life now is a Cadillac Escalade, the big, quiet luxury SUV that fits the rhythm of a man balancing family, business, and the constant movement of an NBA career. With its upright stance, soft leather cabin, and price tag around $100,000 depending on trim, the Escalade is less about showing off and more about comfort and space. It's the kind of car where he can ride in silence, finish a call, or step out ready for a long day. Practical, roomy, and steady. Exactly the kind of presence his life needs today. But when his career rose into a different stratosphere, so did his taste in cars. That's when the Rolls-Royce Wraith entered the picture. Finished in a deep, mirror-black paint and sitting on oversized multi-spoke wheels, The coupe carried a presence that matched his rise. Inside, the cabin was wrapped in electric blue leather with black accents, a bold contrast that made the interior feel more like a private lounge than a car. Under the hood, its 6.6-liter twin-turbo V12 pushed out 624 horsepower, sending the Wraith from 0 to 60 in just 4.4 seconds. Effortless speed for a machine built for quiet dominance. A Wraith configured like his lands around $330,000 to $350,000, and Davis moved in it with the calm assurance of someone who had earned the right to travel this way. It was no longer just transportation, it was a marker of arrival. One car keeps him grounded, the other lifts him into the world of quiet luxury. Together they frame the full arc of who he is. And to understand the numbers behind that arc, we move forward to his income and net worth. Income and net worth. When you look at a star of his level, you naturally wonder what his fortune must be. And the answer doesn't disappoint. His wealth has climbed all the way to an enormous $180 million. A number built on contracts that kept pushing his value higher every season. That rise comes from one thing: the NBA treating him like a franchise cornerstone. The breakthrough arrived in 2020 with a 5-year, $190 million Lakers deal that paid him over $40 million in its peak years and cemented his place among the league's elite. But that still wasn't the ceiling. In August 2023, Davis secured a 3-year, $186 million extension, the richest extension in NBA history at the time, sending his annual salary soaring to $62 million, even before bonuses and endorsements enter the picture. Off the court, money flows just as steadily. Nike has been his anchor for years, and with a cluster of performance and lifestyle sponsors around it, his endorsement income adds another $18 to $20 million each year. Put together, his total yearly earnings hover near $80 million, a figure that places him in a very small group of athletes whose income alone feels like a headline. Real estate is the quieter chapter, but it shows how he moves. In 2018, Davis bought a $7.5 million mansion in Westlake Village. It later sold for $6.5 million, a loss on paper, but part of a bigger reset. The true statement appeared in 2021, when he dropped $11 million cash and a $20 million loan on a $31 million Bel Air Crest estate, the kind of home that tells you he's thinking long-term. By August 2025, the property was listed for $40 million, giving him a potential multi-million-dollar gain and a foothold in one of California's most exclusive markets. He's earned big, invested well, and built a financial base most athletes never touch. But numbers aren't the whole picture. What really defines him is how he uses that success for others. And that shows clearly in his philanthropy. Philanthropy. During the height of the COVID-19 crisis, Davis partnered with Lineage Logistics to support frontline workers across the city, pledging to match donations of up to $2,500,000. That effort funded thousands of meals delivered to hospitals, simple acts of relief in a time when panic and exhaustion filled every hallway. His commitment to youth runs even deeper. Through the Anthony Davis Foundation, founded in 2015, he funds reading rooms, youth programs, and AAU teams for kids in need of stability and hope. The foundation reports annual revenues of about $500,000 and steady investments in education and athletic programs, a sign of how seriously he takes his responsibility to give back. For Davis, it's not about writing checks. It's about creating safe spaces where kids can imagine bigger things for themselves. In 2024, when a longtime Lakers video staffer lost his home in the Altadena wildfire, Davis didn't hesitate. He quietly contributed $200,000 to help the family rebuild, a gesture that reminded everyone around him of who he really was when the cameras weren't rolling. Teammates say this is the version of Davis they know best, the caring one who always steps up and never asks for credit. And his giving doesn't stop at sudden emergencies. Every summer, Davis funds a 3-week basketball and wellness camp in South Los Angeles, covering all equipment and meals so that every child can attend for free. Local organizers estimate the program costs around $120,000 a year, but Davis treats it like a personal mission, showing up to run drills, talk about discipline, and remind kids that talent means nothing without character. He's also become a quiet supporter of health initiatives. Since 2019, he has donated roughly $50,000 a year to Vision to Learn, helping provide free eye exams and glasses for children in underserved schools, a cause close to him because poor eyesight nearly derailed his own early growth as a player. And in 2023, he helped fund a $300,000 upgrade to a community gym on Chicago's South Side, adding new courts and training rooms so teens have a safe place to spend their afternoons. When you look beyond the numbers, you see the real him, a quiet, steady person who doesn't need the spotlight. And once that picture is clear, the next step is simple. Step off the stage and follow him into the quieter rhythms of his personal life. Personal life. These days, Anthony Davis and his family are fully settled in their Bel Air home, living a life more peaceful than anything the NBA could offer. Mornings here are gentle and slow, sunlight flooding the rooms, children running down the hallways, and a sense of peace he never experienced on the road. He often starts his day by stretching on the floor or walking around the court, letting his body rest after weeks of play and travel. In this house, he is no longer the superstar AD. He is simply a father and a husband, cooking breakfast with his wife, carrying his children around the living room, or sitting on the sofa as they climb on him. The everyday moments, noisy and imperfect, have become the part of life he cherishes most. Of course, the pressure never completely goes away. Injuries, expectations, the next game, they're always on his mind. That's why he maintains his business ventures. They give him and his family stability, a steady income that doesn't depend on minutes played or shots taken. It's how he ensures his children's future is secure. And even when he's out and about, he exudes that gentle energy. He chats with fans, spends time with children at community events, and always makes an effort to be present for those who admire him. Those quiet actions say more about him than any highlight reel. What is it about Anthony Davis that stands out to you most? The steady family man, the calm father at home, or the superstar the world sees on TV? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this.